Hey all, before we jump into the video, I just wanted to throw this up there. Remember, if this is in your opening hands, to take it, unless you haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, in which case it will be useless to you, much like you are to me. I'm just kidding. I appreciate you watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you feel so kind. And enough shenanigans, onto the video. Ladies and gentlemen, buzzards and gulls, welcome to another Wingspan gameplay video. I am your host, Knack Nestor. Grab some coffee, grab some tea, grab a beer if you're of age, or don't grab a beer if you're trying to be sober. Either way, let's get right into it. I'm gonna go ahead and start this recording. As you can see, my hand is already full and I've already got a bird down. I wasn't gonna record this game, but then after this absolutely monstrous start, I couldn't help myself but throw on the recorder, and I'm really excited to show you guys this video. So, in my opening hand, I had a hummingbird, and I did not have the bush tit, I can tell you that. And as you can see, I also have a mute swan. And I thought to myself, hummingbird's a great start when you have a mute swan. And then I drew the bush tit, and I was like, oh boy, this is going to be a good game. So, if anyone wants to know how to properly build a full tuck engine, this is this is my best iteration of the full tuck engine. When building a full tuck, in your first round, you are looking for a common nightingale, a Anna's hummingbird, or even a maned duck is actually not my favorite option for this, but some sort of bird that can go in the wetlands and generate food. My favorite is the hummingbird, actually. Common nightingale is a very close second. You are also looking for birds that say tuck one, lay an egg. They are all great places to start where you're gaining an off resource in the row you want to be using. In this case, I got all three, and I got off to a really hot start. My opponent was using a bowerbird quite liberally, and I thought, man, this game is this is going to be nuts. I could already tell. The goldfinch is actually a bird you're looking for when you're building one of these full tuck engines. Typically, what you want is birds that play for cheap, that have utility in other rows. So that goldfinch is super useful. I know common raven, I'm not going to use it this game. I won't have the eggs for it, and I'm not going to transition. So I just wanted to deny it from my opponent. I felt like that was a way that he could take off with his own. I also saw that I have no goal this game, so I thought, wow, that is 3 extra turns to run whatever this engine turns into. I decided to use the hummingbird. I want to take a fish because I want to get this black noddy down, and I don't want to... I obviously can't take nectar because it's my last turn, so I won't be able to use it unless I use it on goldfinch, and I don't think that's worth it. I think getting the black noddy down as quickly as possible is important because noddy will generate points, but also I want to get to that 4th slot. It's super, super important to get to that 4th slot. So I also wanted to deny the Baltimore Oriole. I think it's just a good bird. I just wanted to deny any good birds that I saw. It's also an option for goldfinch. I'm not entirely set on full tuck at this point because if I find another resource generator, I think like the black-headed gull, I could use it. So I actually don't think I should tuck it here. I might have, but black-headed gull could be the next bird that I play there. Worth considering. However, I don't have the... But yeah, there you go. I didn't apparently. Viticulturalist. A house finch is perfect. It generates a point every single time, and I can definitely use it. The only thing is that's why I took the Baltimore Oriole, because it's another viticulturalist. So now I'm like, oh shoot, in order to get an egg, which I definitely need an egg, then I think I have to ditch the goldfinch. I didn't want to. I definitely don't want to ditch the noddy because I plan on using it. Baltimore Oriole, it hurts to ditch it, but because it's the best viticulturalist option that I can think of, right? It's 9 points and it goes in the other row, but I think, yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking to get rid of that because I really wanted that other Vidi point, but c'est la vie. So coming back, the cherry is very welcome for that house finch. I figure I can just force it down next turn. Every food counts, so forcing down definitely hurts. However, I figure forcing it down is probably worth more than like the extra point you get from using your house finch. You actually get 2 points because you're going to use the house finch now, and you have another card to work with for mute swan. So I figured forcing it down at the cost of one of my precious foods is probably worth it this next turn. And then the only thing is it does slow down how long it'll take me to get this black knotty. So coming in, the next round has started, and my opponent goes first, and I see that Kakapo in the tray, and I think, oh my gosh, that would be such a good option for this viticulturalist. I really wanted it because I am getting all the resources that I need. However, the house finch is still worth it to get down first. I don't think I'm going to get the Kakapo, but, if my opponent leaves it one more time, then we're golden. We can play value. So I really like the way I'm set up here. I draw 3 cards, I tuck 1 for free, and then I tuck 3 and get 1 back, and then I can tuck the last one with the bush tit. Now at this point, I would have to lose a point in order to keep any good cards that I draw, so I'm actually hoping to draw junk, because I'm also netting an egg and a food every single turn, and I'm hoping that I can just take the next 3 turns to run my engine, get 3 eggs, and get 3 food for the black knotty, and then drop that so that now, after the black knotty is down, I can now get what would be 4 cards, which turns into 1 card to save at the end of the turn, and then I'm in a really good spot. Because then every single turn, I'm getting whatever the black knotty gets for points, or I could keep the fish. I'm getting a point for the house finch, there's 1. I'm getting mute swan for 3, so there's 4. I'm getting bush tit for 2 until it fills up, but that's still pretty unlikely that I'm going to fill up all 5. Bush tit is the best option for these tuck and lay eggs, in my opinion. Altogether, I'm getting a card, a food, and an egg, and I'm getting 6 points as well every single time, plus whatever knotty hits. That's really, really good. And I've also got a ton of extra turns to work with to build it out. So I consider the Dunnock because it could potentially get me extra eggs, and it could just get me free points, but kind of unlikely. I think about, okay, I could just tuck it later, right? But no, it's pretty unlikely to get me the points, or get me as many points as it would be worth. I also look at this feeder right now, and I'm like, oh, this is not a good place for the feeder. So I let him go first, just to see if he takes the rodent, and he does. He's kind enough to let me reset it. And there's a fish. We're good to go. And as long as he doesn't take food, then I can just take the fish with my hummingbird, and I'm good to go too. Could you imagine if I had left that common raven in the tray and he had double ravens? I know most people don't like double ravens, but I still think it's pretty disgustingly strong, especially when you've got so many extra turns. That would have been pretty scary. Perfect, he did not take food, so everything is going quite swimmingly, which is nice to see. I look at Snow Bunting, he does have the ibis, so Snow Bunting could theoretically get me some points throughout the game. And then I see the Chiff Chaff, and I'm like, oh. But it's trap. It's trap. Because I've already got plenty of tucking ability, and Chiff Chaff doesn't, it literally just pushes me one along, and then it just consumes all my cards, so Chiff Chaff, no, that doesn't work here. I really do think about it for a while, but it just, the other thing is it is viticulturalist, so it is a cheap 3-point cherry-eating bird, but it didn't take me long to realize the trap that Chiff Chaff is. Snow bunting is a different game because it could theoretically get me, you know, extra tucks throughout the game, but even then, I don't think I'm actually going to have too many spare cards lying around because my last card doesn't actually generate more cards. It just pushes me to the draw 4 at the end of the row. So it only generates 1 extra card. So I don't actually think I'm going to have too many cards that are worth tucking under the snow bunting in the first place. Because every time I draw, I'm hoping I get 1 useful card or none, because I'm going to get useful cards throughout the game. So having bad ones in your hand that you can then filter for the good ones later is actually ideal. You don't want your good cards right away. So now that I've got everything I need, drop the Black Naughty. And at this point, I'm just ecstatic with the way this early game and this tempo has gone. I got everything I needed pretty freaking fast. There's still 3 turns left in the second round, and my full engine is realized. So I have what is essentially 6, 7, 13, and 3. I have 16 turns left to run this engine and see what I can find. So at this point, I find these very fun. Some people find these very boring. I think this particular engine is very fun because I'm just looking for value. Click the button. Click another button. No fish. All right. First one missed. For those that don't know, I've done the math on Black Naughty and similar birds in the past. You have about a 60% chance to hit at least 1 fish. You have an expected value of around... Yeah, you have an expected value of around 0.8 fish. For those unfamiliar with statistics, expected value, it's kind of what it sounds like. Every time I activate it, I can expect 0.8 fish to come my way. What that means is that if I run this 10 times, I should get 8 fish. Anything more is nice, anything less is not nice. And it missed again. Again, 40% chance that I miss. For our viewers back home, we are 0 for 2 on the Black Naughty. I think what I'll do in editing is keep a counter in the top right for the Black Naughty. Yeah, that sounds fun. I know I'm playing viticulturalist, so I figure stashing cherries is probably a good idea. I know I've got a nectar, so I figure I'll just use it on the Goldsfinch and figure out later what I'll play with the Goldsfinch. The only question is, do I play Goldsfinch in the forest or do I play it in the grasslands? And the answer is it doesn't matter because I don't know what I'll end up drawing. The only thing I can see right now is that I've got Montague's Harrier, and generally I find there's more point bombs in the grasslands than there are in the wetlands. You know, we're looking for, Benelli's can go in either, but Eastern Imperial Eagle. So looking at this, hindsight's 2020, I think I did put this in the grasslands, but I think I should put it in the forest because I don't expect to you know, like I said, there's just more point bombs that you could play in the grasslands. So why waste one of your grassland slots? You know. Bellsvirio is a good find. Southern Cassowary is a decent find. I find that bird to be pretty useful for filling out a lot of different slots, and it just gives you spits you back 2 cherries and gets you a bunch of eggs, so it's usually worth a ton of points. We are 0 for 3 on Black Naughty. We are 0 for 3. And see, this is what I talk about. You draw your junk first so that when you hit things like Southern Cassowary, Bellsvirio, it's nice to just not have to keep that Montague's Harrier. Just makes it so you don't have to make tough decisions, which is nice. And there is the other honorable mention for this type of setup. If I had a mained duck with this setup, I wouldn't be netting a card. However, I would be getting a ton of extra egg or a ton of extra food. I would probably just use the mained duck as a tuck 1 or 2 and then draw. So, and then get your wheat, not draw. And thank God that Puffin showed up on my turn. I've talked about this in a previous video with Bout Nemo. I think Atlantic Puffin is the best point bomb in the game. So it was kind of nice to see that on my turn so that I could deny it. Truly, I don't think there is a better singular card that is better than Atlantic Puffin at being a point bomb. And there we go. We are 1 for 4 with the Black Naughty, and we did get 2, so that's fun. And I don't really need the fish. I can get more food, so I thought about keeping the fish, but yeah, let's just tuck them for points. Looking back, maybe there's a world where I keep the fish, but I think Hummingbird will generate the food that I need this game. And generally fish, I would essentially be losing 2 points just to, you know, I would be losing 2 points just to have 2 fish basically for 1 food, because I'm probably not going to use them for fish. I don't know why that took me so long to finish that thought, but I guess my editor self will have fun with that. I like to think that my recorder self and my editor self are basically 2 different personalities, and my editor self has a lot more leeway to make fun of me. So something of a problem that I've run into, as you can see, is that my bush tit does not have any more egg slots left. So I definitely want to use them, and I think Bellsvirio is probably the best use. Typically the get extra... Yeah, so typically the... Yeah, next box builder. Typically I don't like to go for like cheap gain an extra bonus card when I'm running this setup. Like Bellsvirio is usually not very good when you're doing a full tuck, because it's only 4 points and you're probably going to miss. However, because of the way this is set up, where I've got Hummingbird for food, I've got Naughty for fish if I really want, and I've got eggs from Bush Tit, I think it's perfectly safe to use something like Bellsvirio. Especially, Bellsvirio itself is a star nest, and that's generally really good for a lot of your engines like that, so, you know, it's worth considering. Could you imagine if I got that Mockingbird just a little sooner? And Black Naughty, we are 1 for 5, baby. 1 for 5. At this point, I'm kind of nervous about giving away so much excess food, but I just figure this engine is unstoppable. Like, I genuinely feel this is gonna pop off for a ton of points already, and I just don't care what I give to him because I just feel I feel too powerful. Like, he's got good birds, he's playing a decent game, but it won't keep up is essentially my philosophy here. So I might as well just take everything I can and get as much as I can. So the only reason I played the common swift here is because I figure I can start using hummingbird to take worms for another point. And I mean, it's one food, 5 points, really efficient, and it takes an egg off the bush tit. Feels like I'm using my resources. It just felt safe. I figure if I don't find much else this game, I can at least just draw worms and get some points for it, so. Whole bunch of junk there, which, no problem. We'll just ditch that all. Red-backed fairy wren. I've already got 2 star nests. Doesn't seem so bad, huh? Usually red-backed fairy wren is not my favorite bird in the world to play, but here it seems okay. I mean, it's 7 points essentially. It would cost 2 eggs, but I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess. Pretty sure I played it. Oh, and it's a star nest. So if I find more bonus card birds, then that's also very good. Oh, and Common Swift helps me compete for this end around, I believe. And we're 1 for 6 on the Black Naughty. That is 1 for 6. That is 6 activations, and we have hit 2 fish. By this point, we can expect 4.8 fish, so a little less than 5, but no, we only got 2. Which is fun. It's fine. Oh, it did not help me compete for that end around. Never mind. He's quite far up on me on that, so never mind. Oh, also, if he ever uses his bowerbird, that's a point for me. Yeah, that Common Swift. It made sense. Oh, it made sense. Don't question me. However, I don't think I tucked anything under it this round just because it seemed like a waste. Yeah, totally didn't tuck any under that. Was a total waste. I love watching these back because it's like, I probably didn't, knowing how I think, and then I totally do it. I think it's funny. Oh, I guess I did. Whatever. So, looking at all of this, I want to play. I want to utilize the cassowary for an extra cherry-eating bird, but it's not looking good. It would have to eat another bird, and this is where I wish I had played Goldsfinch in the forest, because then cassowary could be my final bird of the game, and I could just ditch the Goldsfinch, which is only worth 3 points anyway. And I think Goldsfinch has an egg discount though, so I would not be able to utilize that, but still it would be worth it, right? You could just ditch that out. But Greater Prairie Chicken would be a good option, but doesn't hit either of these bonus cards, so seems like a waste. And I don't have the food for it. We are 1 for 7 on the Black Naughty, for those keeping score at home. So I consider the Violet Green sparrow, or what is it? The Eurasian green woodpecker, because it just seems like it would fit. It's another cherry, and I decided, yeah, I can use that, and I can actually win this end around, because this last end around is birds in one row, and if you have one of those that counts for double, it's basically an automatic win if you've got all 5. So I count it out, and I think, okay, yeah, I think I can get this Eurasian green woodpecker down, and then I can get one more bird after it, and that would be an automatic win. Because, and it would be another, oh, here's the other thing. It's a nest box builder as well, which means that it completes, so that Eurasian green woodpecker is worth 4 minus the 2 eggs to play it. It is worth 3 for winning this end around. It is worth 3 for eating cherries. And then it's worth 3 for completing nest box builder if I find one more that does that. So Eurasian green woodpecker altogether, that's 4 minus 2, 2, 8, and 3 more if I complete. Yeah, it made sense actually, because I had the right food for it too, and and it eats 2 eggs off the bush tit, so it actually doesn't count as points lost on eggs. It was actually a really good pickup. Usually that's not a bird anybody likes to play, rightfully so. It's usually not very good, but here it fit everything I needed, which was great. So I've got 4 turns left. I know one of them is going to be playing a bird, and then I need to have a bird to play with Goldfinch. So that's actually why I kept this common buzzard, because if all else fails, I can just drop the common buzzard on Goldfinch, and it's 2 points, right? It eats it and then tucks it. So it's not ideal use of Goldfinch, but it's an option. And then I find the northern goshawk, and I think, oh, that's the play. And there we finally got 3 fish. That is 8 activations. We have 3 fish. So thank you, Black Naughty, for your service, but you suck. Very volatile bird. So the reason I didn't take a nectar there is because he's already got all of his birds down. So getting an extra nectar in my grasslands doesn't help me. And I do want to win this end around, so I do want to play one more bird in my grasslands. And right now it's looking like the red-backed fairy wren. Because I need, one, as soon as I play it, now I've cleared 2 eggs off the bush tit, so the bush tit can get full value now. And 2, I mean, it would lay an egg by itself, so it would actually fill up the bush tit by the end, or at the end of the game. Yeah, I think I did red-backed fairy wren and northern goshawk, I think is what I did. And we got 2 more fish. Love to see it. I believe that is 9 uses of the Black Naughty, and we have 5 fish, so we're catching up. If we hit 3 more on this last one, we hit expected value. But we are behind. Yeah, I just don't see a world where I can play the turkey, unfortunately. That would have been the best bird that I could play at the end, but I just won't have enough food for it. For those of you at home, and if you see better math than what I did at the end here, by all means share it in the comments. love any feedback and any comments that I can get. I'm pretty sure though I've decided, okay, I got one more turn. I can play the Gosh Hawk, and then I think I'm playing Gosh Hawk and Red-backed Fairy Wren, I think is the last two birds that I want to play. I think about just taking food one more time, playing the turkey as my last bird, and then honestly, I'm not sure why I didn't play the turkey as my last bird, because Fairy Wren is essentially a 7-point bird. Oh no, the Fairy Wren is another. Oh, that's why. I think this turn takes me a minute to figure this all out, but the Fairy Wren is a cavity nest, and so it's actually worth 3 extra points on top of the laying an egg for it at the end of the game. Not finding anything terribly useful there. Finishing off the tuck engine. Get a stubble quail. Kind of fun, but not really useful. Nothing that's better than the Gosh Hawk. I really wanted Benelli's, but what are you going to do? Take a worm with the hummingbird, and I can tuck one more with the swift, and then we can just play the Gosh Hawk with Goldfinch and be good to go. See that Bell's Vireo, I'm telling you, that's actually a really, I like that one in particular because it's a star nest. Anytime you're playing birds that generate a lot of bonus cards, you want star nests because typically the nest types end up being your saving grace. Perfect. And Red-backed Fairy Wren gives me 3 eggs. Take that. So going in, I wasn't nervous. I didn't think I lost or anything, but I was curious how many points this was worth because this felt really, really strong. And, you know, I even won one of the Nectar battles. I competed with the end of rounds and ran an insane engine. So I'm really quite curious how many points I'd scored at this point. 63 bird points, though. That is really respectable from my opponent. And then 22 bonus points. I was like, oh, he had a very good game. Wow. And this is where the tucking engine kind of shows. $86 tucked cards and 172. Pretty proud of this game. I don't think total score is like a good metric for your best game of Wingspan you've ever played. I don't actually think this is the best game I've ever played because I just got really, really powerful cards and played my early game really well, and thus I got a crazy cool score. But I think your best game is when you get really, really bad cards and you still get a decent score out of it. I think that's really a good metric for your best game of Wingspan you've ever played. I don't think I got the most out of this game. that I could have. I got 5 tucks out of the naughty. There's 3 expected value. I should be at 175 already. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Was there other birds at different points where you thought, oh man, you should have played this. You would have gotten 180. You know, you would have, the tournament Discord record for 1v1 games is 189. And going into this, I was like, I wonder how close I am to that record. And I'm still, what, 17 points away from it. So kudos to that guy or girl, wherever he is, or she, or they. And anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Remember that bird of good luck. It really does work. It doesn't work. I don't know why I said that. That's a lie. I'm not going to lie to you. But liking, commenting, and subscribing, it really does help. Please consider it, and cheers.